Good evening, everybody. Professor Ayorinde, welcoming all of you to my first session using the Zoom web conferencing platform. In today's session, I will give some tips on how to use the Zoom platform, particularly for those teaching organic chemistry. I know some of you are familiar with the Zoom platform already. So before you start your session, once you enter the session, the first thing you need to do, make sure your audio and your video, the devices are appropriately set. That is, if you are using more than one audio device or more than one video device, choose the appropriate audio and video devices. Then, of course, you know at the bottom of your screen, you have the control panel. Right in the middle of the control panel, you see a button that says Manage Participants. Click on that button so you could see all of your students, and of course the student will see you and you will see the students. And of course, before you start the session, make sure you click on the record button so you can record your session. Now, in the middle of the control panel, right in the middle of the control panel, there is a green rectangular button that says Share Screen. That particular feature is most important for those who are engaged in the teaching enterprise, because that button allows the student to see what is on your screen, and you could choose whatever you want the student to see. So at this point, let me go ahead and click on that button. Okay, you click on the button, that will take you to another screen, and that screen will give you various options. You could either allow the student to see your full laptop screen, or you could simply allow the student to see selected applications. So at this point, I am assuming that most of you have your lecture design, your lecture material in PowerPoint. So I will go to sharing the PowerPoint application. Click on that and then allow sharing. So you could see right here, you see my lecture design for the day. If I was giving a lecture today, the student will see my lecture design for this particular chapter. Of course, the topic is chemistry of carboxylic acid and derivatives. And the last topic to be covered in this chapter will be reactions of carboxylic acid and derivatives, with particular emphasis on nucleophilic acyl substitution reactions. So the student will know this. And then, of course, on the next slide, I let the student know the learning outcome objectives. In other words, upon completion of this chapter, I do expect that the student will be able to perform any one of these activities. And I also tell the students that they do not need to write all of this down, since I will be sending them the video of the lecture after each lecture. However, I also advise my students, particularly when it comes to writing chemical equations, the formulas on synthesis and stuff, they need to write those down as much as they can, because from my experience, when students write what the professor is writing, they tend to follow the lecture more. And if they do not do any writing, they tend to lose concentration, particularly when they are online. So you want to advise them. There are certain things they write. For example, this year they do not have to write this. They could essentially just read this view this in the video that will be sent to them. But when it comes to the chemical equation, synthesis, application, and all that, they need to write as much as the professor is writing. So anyway, most of you, I'm sure, will be using a PowerPoint presentation for your class. But from my experience, I do find PowerPoint presentation a little bit very cumbersome. It's difficult to go from page to page, particularly when I want to write. See, I am the type that would want to write most of my chemical equation. So PowerPoint presentation does not lend itself to a seamless transition from one page to another. And because of that, I use the Microsoft Office 365 OneNote. So let me share that with you. So what I'm going to do here, take this out, this PowerPoint material out. I will stop sharing that. Stop sharing. And then I will go to sharing again. This time I want to share my OneNote application with you. So here is my OneNote application. You see what I have here. It is a full screen, so it allows me to write, give me a lot of space to write. In this particular, on this particular page, I have here synthesis of aspirin. So I want to discuss this with my students. Okay, so I want to discuss this with my students. If you notice here, what are we doing with the synthesis of aspirin? We are taking a molecule of salicylic acid reacting that molecule of salicylic acid with another molecule. In this case, this is acetic anhydride to obtain our product, which is aspirin. This molecule here is called acetic anhydride. So we are taking a molecule of salicylic acid reacting with a molecule of acetic anhydride. And what do we get? We get the desired product of aspirin, which is right here. And what is actually happening here? If we take a closer look at this process, we will find that this hydrogen here in salicylic acid will be replaced by this group from acetic anhydride to form our aspirin. Okay, you see that group from acetic anhydride, and that particular group from acetic anhydride is called, let me make some room here, it's called acyl group. It's an acyl group, or sometimes we may call it acetyl group. And because we call this acetyl group, this process is therefore referred to as acetylation. The process is therefore referred to as acetylation. In other words, this particular reaction here, we will say this is an acetylation reaction. Acetylation reaction, let me write that better than that. So the process of replacing the hydrogen of the salicylic acid with an acetic group we refer to as an acetylation reaction. Okay, so let me give you a better overview of this particular reaction, just to show you the seamless way in which you use the Microsoft Office OneNote. To remind you again, I'll go to the next page. It's easy to do. This is Office. Okay, this is Microsoft Office. Office 365 OneNote. That is what we are using now. Okay. Okay, so go to the next page, and now what I want to do now, I want to act as though I am in the classroom with my students, writing on the whiteboard or writing on the chalkboard with the student right there with me. And this is the power of this particular application. Allows you to simulate a classroom experience. So I would say synthesis. At this point, we want to synthesis of aspirin. See, I am writing as though I am in the classroom. So we take a molecule of salicylic acid. See, this is as though I am in the classroom. And we react that molecule of salicylic acid with a molecule of acetic anhydride. So this is the time when I tell the student they need to write down whatever I am writing. That way they could follow the material much like they were in the classroom. So you take, in this case, we take excess of acetic anhydride reacting with salicylic acid. Since I am writing just as though I am in the classroom, that also allows the student to follow the lecture, and they are also writing. So now we get this product here. Now we get our product aspirin. Or if you want to give the chemical name, we say acetyl salicylic acid. So as you can see, what we did do, replace this hydrogen here with this acetyl group, and that process is referred to as acetylation. So you can see here, using the Microsoft Office OneNote, to me, that is the preferred application I will use with Zoom the Zoom platform, because if you use the whiteboard that comes with the Zoom platform, it does not give you that much space to write. And going from one page to another page is not as seamless as it is when you use the Microsoft Office OneNote. And the same thing applies to if you use a PowerPoint presentation, like most of you probably do. And keep in mind, you want to write as much as possible as though you are in the classroom to give your student that classroom experience. Because if all you do is simply just go through PowerPoint without actually writing as though you are in the classroom, the student very easily lose concentration. And you do not want that to happen online, because you want to engage the students in as much as possible. If the student was here with me, I would be asking them questions, and some of them will be answering my question through the chat window, and some of them will be answering the question through the mic, through the audio system. So at this point, I am going to stop sharing this application, and we are getting close to the end of this presentation today. I hope you enjoyed the session as much as I enjoy giving it to you. And until I see you again, I will say so long.